Carousels can be a great tool for displaying a lot of information in a creative and engaging way. With the DiviFlash Advanced Carousel module, you can take your creativity up a notch. In this walkthrough video, we will go through all the settings the Advanced Carousel module has to offer. Once you open the Carousel module, you will see the Advanced Carousel settings window. To add a single carousel item, click on the plus button. Upon clicking the plus button, you will be taken to the Advanced Carousel item settings, where you can customize the carousel item you just added. First, add a title for your carousel item. Then you can add a subtitle. Next up is a text editor where you can input the body of the content. Once you're done with the title, subtitle and the body, you can add an image. You can also add an alt text for your image. If you don't want to use an image and use an icon instead, all you have to do is just toggle on the Use Icon button. Once you do, several options will appear below. You can choose an icon of your choice from Divi's default collection. You can change the icon's color. You can change the icon's size. You can adjust the icon's placement. You can set the icon's background color. And you can toggle circle icon option to choose a circle background instead of a square one. Up next is the button option. You can choose the button text, button URL, and if the link will open in the new tab or not. The item order is quite an unique feature of the Advanced Carousel module. With this, you can change the order of each component of the carousel. Let's put the title first, subtitle second, image in the third position, and so on. See, you can change the order of each component of the carousel item. The links section lets you link this carousel item to any URL you want. The background section lets you customize the background of the single carousel item. You can either add a color, gradient, image, video, pattern, or a mask to customize the background of this item. Now we have a basic skeleton of a carousel item and we need to design it. At the top of the carousel item settings window, you can see the design tab. This is where you need to go for designing the carousel item. The first section is for editing the image. But right now we do not have an image in the item. So let's go back and change that. In the image section, you can change the image's alignment, make it full width and set a maximum width. Since the image is already taking up all the space, let's make it a bit smaller, or the other two options won't work. In the title section, you can change the title's HTML tag, its background, font thickness, make it italic, uppercase, underline or strike through. You can also edit the size, letter spacing and the line height. The next two sections, subtitle and content, have the same set of options as the title section, but the changes you make in these sections will apply to the subtitle and the body of the content. Next up is the button section. There are options to change the button's alignment, its background color, and add custom margins and paddings to it. Also, there are common options like changing the font weight, style, text alignment, color, etc. The rounded corner option lets you customize the corners of the button. Also, from the border styles, you can customize all 4 borders or each border separately. And finally, you can add a box shadow to the button and modify it. The custom spacing section is a very important design feature in the carousel module. You can add spaces to each component of the carousel item separately, and you can add a wrapper around the whole carousel item or just the image. The next few sections contain Divi's default features that comes with every module. The sizing section lets you adjust the height and the width of the item. The border section is for customizing the borders altogether or individually. The box shadow has the option to add and edit a shadow effect. From the filter section, you can add color filters to the item, and lastly, the transform sections allows you to change the item's size, position, orientation, angle, and origin. After exploring all the design options, let's move on to the Advanced tab. The Advanced tab is also common in every Divi module, where you can add custom CSS codes, transition effects, scroll effects, etc. With all the design options explored, it's time we add more items to the carousel. Simply click on this back icon and then click on this plus icon to add a new carousel item. Doing so will take you to the carousel item settings again to customize it. Or if you want, you can copy an existing item and then customize it as you wish. For deletion, simply click on this trash icon. Up until now, all the features were about customizing a single carousel item. From here, the advanced carousel settings, we can make changes to the whole carousel. First comes the carousel settings, where you can choose the carousel type. Then you can adjust the maximum number of items shown on different devices. And you can change the spacing and the speed at which the items will slide. Just below the speed options, there are some toggle buttons. Toggle center slides on to start the slides from the center. To create a loop with the items, turn the loop option on. If you want to automatically start the slideshow and determine the delay in autoplay, turn on autoplay. Also, you can enable pause on hover. For navigation, you can either enable the use of arrows or dots. If you enable the equal height item, it ensures that each item has the same height regardless of the length of the content. By turning on the lightbox option, you can make your carousel images appear in a lightbox when you click them. You can also show the carousel title along with the image in the lightbox. Now, if you choose cover flow instead of slides, an extra section will appear named Advanced Settings. From there, you can enable a shadow effect over the cover flow and choose two different shades. You can set the angle of the items, stretch the space and the depth. Also, there is an effect multiplier option that lets you choose how many times the items will spin or rotate in navigation. The next section is the item order, which is similar to the one we have explored before. But instead of modifying a single item, it will affect the whole carousel. Also, there's the background section where you can edit the background of the entire carousel. But since there's already a background color set from the item settings, it won't make an impact here. Let's move on to the Design tab, where we can change the design of the carousel. The options in the title, subtitle and content are the same as the options in the item settings. We could say the same thing for the button section too, but it has the extra option to make the button full width. The next and the unique section is the arrow section. If you want to use arrows as navigation, you can turn it on from the carousel settings. From here, you can change the arrow's color, background, position, alignment, and opacity. Also, you can choose custom icons from Divi's default library and modify their size. On top of that, you can also add custom margin and paddings to the arrow. To use dots as navigation, you need to turn dot navigation on from the carousel settings in the content section. Then, for customization, you need to go back to the dot section in the Design tab. In the dot section, you can modify the dot's alignment, use a large dot to indicate the active carousel item, change the color of the dots, and set a different color for the active carousel dot. The next section is custom spacing, where you can create custom spacings between the items and the components of the carousel. In the wrapper part, there are options to customize the wrapper for the entire carousel, the item, and the image. And in the content part, there are options to customize the padding and margin of each component of the carousel. The sizing section here has the same options as the sizing in item settings. The next section is spacing, which is Divi's default spacing option to set the margin and padding of the whole carousel. The next two options are border and box shadow, which we have explored earlier. The last section in Design tab is animation, which is also Divi's default setting. If you want, you can use an animation effect on the carousel from 8 different animation effects. The next tab is Advanced, which is also a default Divi tab for adding custom CSS codes, scroll effects, and more. With this, we conclude our Advanced Divi Carousel walkthrough. Hope you have enjoyed it. Also, if you still have any questions, please feel free to contact our support. Thank you.